What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today it is time to take a look at all of the wonderful alternate art leaders coming around in OP-08, which of course means we get a nice reminder of all of the leaders that are coming around in OP-08. This is looking good, ladies and gentlemen. This is looking very, very good. And we might as well start off with Charlotte Pudding, who I'm just saying now looks like the best leader in the set. But also worth pointing out, very nice alternate art. Of course, this is the purple, yellow, big mum leader, which, I mean, we knew that was coming. We knew that from the... Well, actually, no, we didn't. We weren't told we were getting a purple, yellow, big mum leader in the set. But we were told we were getting purple, big mum cards, which is basically the same thing. But what we've got from Charlotte Pudding is your standard dual colour leader, 5,000 power, 4 life. You know the deal. And when attacking, you may turn the top 2 cards of your life face up to add a Don card from your Don deck rested. Yeah, it ramps up Don. It gives you access to all of those ridiculous Big Mum cards like, for instance, Big Mum, but it lets you ramp up your Don more easily. And look, you've got to turn up your Don. You've got to turn them face up, which is a little bit of a pain. But then again, if your opponent attacks and you take the Don, then they're not face up anymore, you're fine. And we've got a bunch of cards that turn the Don face down again. I mean, the easiest one here, the most blatant one we've got, is just the Viola from EB-01. Viola from EB-01 on play lets you turn all your life cards face down. So, and it's only a 2 cost, and it's a blocker as well, so it's not like you're just using this skill and then you got this pointless card on the field taking up a space, wasting the Don you used to pay for it. Nah, mate. Play this, turn your Don face down, get a blocker on the board, and then reuse Charlotte Pudding's skill. It is an attacking skill, I should mention. Charlotte Pudding looks absolutely nuts, and now we've got the alternate art, which just looks kind of awesome. The other one that looks ridiculously awesome is Marco. And it's funny because when I first saw Marco, I told you that Marco might actually be the best leader we've seen. And it turns out it's probably not even the best leader in the set. That's Pudding. But Marco still looks absolutely phenomenal. Again, we got dual colour, red and blue, because we've got blue Whitebeard Pirates in this set. We got 5,000 power. We got 4 life. And we got Don X1, activate main once per turn, draw a card, put a card from your hand to the bottom of your deck, and then one of your opponent's characters gets minus 2,000 power this turn. And it's kind of funny, right? Because we've just banned Sakazuki because it had a draw engine and did what black decks like to do, that is to say lower cost. And then we print this, which has a draw engine and does what red decks want to do, which is to say lowers power. This one could end up being ridiculously good. And then, of course, we've got all of the great new blue Whitebeard Pirates, like, for instance, Newgate, which I showed you just t'other day, which, when you play it, if your leader is Whitebeard Pirates and you have 2 or fewer life cards remaining, your opponent has to discard 2 cards from their hand to attack with any of their characters for a turn. I mean, it's absurdly good. It's ridiculously good. So, yeah, you've got ridiculous skills here, and we're combining that with a lot of new cards, which are also looking ridiculously good, and you add all of that up together, and it's like, oh, yeah, Newgate is looking absolutely absurd. And then Marco's looking absurd. And this all adds up rather nicely. As a side note, remember the front of the booster pack artwork hasn't yet been seen on any card. So I'm not saying it is the alternate art of Newgate. It might be a new Newgate card. But come on. Put 2 and 2 together. It makes too much sense. Now, they are the 2 that I think look the most exciting, but there are all the others we need to look at as well, like Carrot. Now, when I first saw Carrot, I wasn't that excited. Mono green, 5,000 power, 5 life. Activate main once per turn. If you've got a character with Minx in play, rest one of your opponent's cost 5 or lower characters. And look, I like the idea that you can just rest a character every single turn. That is genuinely good. Being 5 cost or less is not ideal, but it's not terrible. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. But then you get all the other stuff. And all of a sudden it's starting to look quite good. We got Zoe, the stage, which activate main. If your leader is Minx, you can rest the stage to set a Don active. And at the end of your turn, you set one of your Minx active. And then we've got Pedro, who's a Minx blocker, with a really nice when KO'd skill. When it's KO'd, you either rest one of your opponent's Dom or KO a 6 cost or lower rested character. So essentially, Zoe lets you put Pedro active at the end of your turn to block on your opponent's turn to then KO one of their characters. And actually, there's a bunch of others we've seen as well. I was not excited when I first saw Carrot. I thought it was, frankly, underwhelming. I might be changing my mind. Now, the other mono leader that we are getting in the set is Calgara. We are only getting 2 monocolor leaders in the set. And this is a mono yellow, 5,000 power, 5 life. And we got Don X1. When attacking, put a character with Shandorian Warriors type from your hand into play with a cost equal to or less than the number of Don you control. If you did, put the top card of your life into your hand. So basically, you're playing Shandorian Warriors for free. And the later the game goes, the bigger the character you play can be. But if you do it, you have to take a life to do so. So it really is up to you how good you think that might end up being. Either way, the idea that you can play characters for free, that's pretty good. And yeah, you do have to take a life into your hand. But remember, that does also give you card advantage. So it's not necessarily the worst thing ever. Just putting that one out there. Now, Tony Chopper is a very popular character. Is the leader any good? Well, we've got activate main once per turn, and you can attach 1 rested Don to each of 3 animal or Drum Kingdom pirate characters. Cool. That's actually really good. You're attaching 3 rested Don every single turn. Oh, we got dual colour red and green, of course, here. And I still have not seen anything from this leader to make me think it's going to be as good as some of the others in the set. I think Chopper is fine, but it's not exactly the leader that I'm most excited about. Do remember, we do have a character Chopper as well. Lets you look at the top 5 cards of your deck and play and when attacking, to be fair, and play an animal card with 4,000 power or less rested. And I really like this because you can combine it with the other Chopper that on play lets you play an animal with 3,000 power or less rested, and then you actually get to play 3 characters for free Don, which is clearly absurd. Just putting that out there. That could be kind of fun. Not sure if it's good enough to make Chopper some massive top tier deck, but I do think it's very, very exciting. And then we've got King. And King's an odd one. Because on the one hand, I don't think it's necessarily as in-your-face powerful as something like Marco or Charlotte Pudding. And on the other hand, there's a lot of potential here. Activate main once per turn, Don -2. And you either draw a card if you've got 5 or less in your hand, or give one of your opponent's characters -2 cost for the turn. It's fine. But the Don -2 can just be undone by a million other cards we've seen. And then all of a sudden you've got stuff like Suru, which can lower cost. And then you've got starter deck Kaido, which has Rush and also KOs a character when it comes into play. Specifically a 6 cost or less. But with Suru, it's potentially an 8 cost or less. But with this leader, it's basically a 10 cost or less, i.e. literally any character. And basically, if you can re-ramp the Don after your leader skill, which is a big if, admittedly, you can all of a sudden just use this ridiculous combo. And of course, being an Animal Kingdom pirate, you got Onigashima Island, and sure, it adds a rested Don, but it still adds an extra Don per turn, which is going to be pretty good. And let's not forget, Black Maria that I showed you the other day, which is an absurdly good card. that ramps 5 Don. And sure, you have to then at the end of your turn put Don back into equal to or less than your opponent. But guess what? You're playing purple. You've got all your Don minor skills. For most of the game, you're going to be behind on Don. So when you start using all these skills like Starter Deck Kaido, you're going to be able to re-ramp the Don using Black Maria. It's absurd. I love this potential. I think King could be amazing. Like I say, I think when we're looking at these leaders, I think Marco and Pudding are the ones you initially look at and go, oh, wow, they're amazing. But I think then if you take just a little more time and have a little bit of a look, you're like, oh, hang on a second. King looks kind of busted. And there's potential with some of the others as well. Right, that's what you need to know. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about these leaders. Tell me if you like the fact that we've gone back to this style of design. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.